Hello and welcome to Focus On. I am Fifi Peters. In today's episode, we are focusing on African women who make up the highest proportion of female entrepreneurs in the world, according to research from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. The OECD says that more than a quarter of all African businesses were either started or run by women. Despite female entrepreneurship, however, being an integral part of the continent's growth, African women still get the short end of the stick when it comes to funding. They receive less than 7% of venture capital investment. But in the spirit of Women's Month, Access Bank South Africa is calling on all female entrepreneurs who have been in business for 1 year or longer to enter their Womanpreneur Her Perfect Pitch competition for 2023. And joining me for more on this is Access Bank CEO Sugendri Reddy. Sugendri, thanks so much for your time. Always a pleasure to catch up with you. So you, as Access Bank South Africa, are essentially continuing to bet on the female entrepreneur when the majority of participants in your industry continue to say that they are way too risky to do so. So why are you strengthening your bet on womenpreneurs right now?
Thank you, Fifi. So firstly, we believe that when you invest in women, they invest back in their families, in their communities, and which ultimately helps to better nutrition in the families, where it helps in educating because they educate their families. And they also, when they bring out products and services, they generally do things that help to support communities. So at the end of the day, women help to grow the economy faster than what a man would do because they invest almost everything back into the families and to the community.
And yet, we continue to hear that women struggle in terms of access to funding, and women are perceived to be a lot more riskier than perhaps some of their male counterparts. Now, you are an expert who has been in financial services for quite some time. What is it with this perception towards women, and why does it seem to not be going away fast enough?
I don't know why it's not going away fast enough, but I can tell you it's a myth because women are more responsible. So when they, even if you just look at your general category of lending, if you split it between male and female, your female, generally that book performs better than the male.
Sure.
So it shows because they understand that if they take something, they have to return it. And so they understand that concept. And I want to give you an example of Grameen Bank. I don't know if you know about the Grameen Bank in India that started by Mohammed Yunus, and he lends 97% of all his assets are to women. And his bad debts are not outrageous. They actually, he sees them growing the economy, he sees them growing the communities, and he sees the difference that they make. But he also sees that the repayment profile is actually solid from women.
Sure.
So it's actually a myth that women are more risky. They actually, I would say, they are more diligent in their payments, but they also, they bring that responsibility that women have. You know, they bring that into business as well, and they tend to do business in a more responsible manner as well.
Sure. Just one last question on this. Another reason that often gets cited for women struggling in their access to capital, to money to either start a business or to grow it, is the idea that a lot of female-led businesses operate in the informal economy, and the idea that perhaps they don't always have the right paperwork because they operate in the informal economy. They mainly base a lot of their business transactions on the likes of cash, so it's very difficult for banks to see exactly how this business is doing and all that. I just want your take on that in your work as Access Bank South Africa in working with some of the female businesses within your industry. Is it all informal businesses that you see on your books?
Definitely not. So I'm just going to take us back to last year's competition.
Sure.
So if I look at who won the competition, it was a lady that actually filters dirty water into clean water within seconds. And that's not informal. It's working with governments, and she can export this to any country in the world that has this problem about access to clean water. So that is not. The person that came second built roads and concrete blocks that's needed across the roads. And that is not informal as well. If I look at the others, one built houses in a day, or someone made candy out of vegetables, but nothing was about informal economy. Everything was in the formal economy. So our ladies are innovative as good as the men are, and they are very responsible. And that is why we at Access Bank want to support them. We feel it's time that we start to have an equal society. It's a fundamental human right for everyone to be treated equally. And that equality needs to come now, not in the future, but now. And it's through these competitions and organizations like ourselves that actually back the woman that's going to change this these myths and help women to grow and grow the economy ultimately.
Sure. Okay, so let's get into the technicalities then of the actual competition and how it's going to work. So this is technically the third year that Access Bank South Africa has been running a program that supports female-led businesses specifically. So just talk to us about what some of the female viewers who are watching this right now can look forward to in terms of what you're doing this year.
Okay, so this year is a little bit different. It's the first year that we partnered with someone. So we partnered with Jacaranda FM. Okay. And what does that mean? It means that the prize money became bigger. So one woman is going to walk away with 2 million rand worth of prizes. Okay. So that prize money is huge. It will be able to change their business fundamentally. So that's the first thing. All we need from who can enter is we need someone to be registered with SIPSI, and their business needs to be in existence for 1 year or more. And anybody, as long as you're a woman, any woman can apply for this competition. And we're looking forward to seeing the innovation that exists in this country. And we want to help. Jacaranda FM and ourselves want to help women, young and old, to help to actually build their businesses or take the business to the new level.
Sure. So money, a great thing, but often people say that it's more than money that one requires to get along the journey and to grow. So talk to us about some of the other elements that this program will provide to support some of these female-led businesses.
So the first thing is the top 10 winners, each one of them will receive a 50,000 Rand educational voucher. Okay. So that's going to help them to grow any skill that they require and they believe that will help their business. The second thing is we're going to offer them mentorship. So the mentorship is very critical for business success. So we will be helping the business that wins with a mentorship program where we will help them to understand their business plans, to make sure that they understand the threats that exist in their market, to things that they may not have identified. These mentors will actually help them to identify these things and put plans behind it to actually make their business sustainable. So that mentorship is actually invaluable.
Okay. Perhaps also lessons, maybe, just drawing on some of the cohorts that have entered previously, what you've seen in terms of areas of improvement that you can share for women businesses who are looking to pitch this time around. And also, often they say that women, we are too critical on ourselves and we talk ourselves down a bit too much. Maybe you can also draw on lessons on where you reckon that as women we are a lot stronger, particularly in areas like pitching.
So the biggest lesson that I saw that women need to learn is about exactly what you're talking about. When they pitch their videos, they undersell themselves. And so it is a competition. So you actually need to understand it's a competition and you're competing amongst others. And those that lacked confidence, they fell off very easily. But yet they had great concepts. So we need to make sure that women, when you pitch with confidence and pitch with clarity. Sometimes women are not very clear about what they want as well. So that's very important. If you've got a business, focus. If you put too many things on the table, as a startup, you'll lose focus very quickly. So focus on that one big idea. That one big idea, when it comes through and starts paying the bills, then focus on the next big idea. But don't focus on all at once. And especially at startup businesses and young businesses. So that's the lesson that I would, lessons learned from last year is just be more confident, pitch with clarity, and focus on one idea.
Okay, so this notion that apparently women are absolutely fantastic at multitasking is also a myth, perhaps then when it comes to business, in your view.
I think none of us are good at multitasking as much as we claim to be. Especially in business, you just need focus. When you've got a limited budget, limited resources, you cannot do all at once. So that's why you need focus, especially when you're young and small.
Okay. So Gendry, a little bit of a personal question right now, because you are one of 2 female CEOs in South Africa's banking sector essentially right now. So there's not a lot of you, and perhaps maybe some personal experiences in terms of your own journey, and if there was a message to your younger self right now that you could share, what would it be? Because I think that a lot of women who understand your journey, or perhaps who even look at your title, would wonder, wow, has she always been this confident lady who knew that she could do it, or was it different at one point in time, and how did she actually get there?
So it's always difficult to talk about yourself, sure. But the one thing I can say is that how I got here is through mentorship. So you have to do that. At a young age, I was always ambitious, and I always knew that I wanted to be a CEO of a company. And that was my aim. And now that I got it, okay, thank you. You know, you have to look at something else that you want to do now, and new achievements. So I think the first thing is that I'm very grateful for all those mentors. And many of my mentors were actually males. So you actually have to not alienate men in your journey of growth. And that was the first thing that I did. The second thing is, when I say confidence, even I still lack confidence at times. I don't know what is it with us women that, sure. You know, as strong as we can be, as good as we can be in our jobs, but when we put in a forum, we are not good at it. So I too had to learn how to build confidence. And I'll tell you what I do every morning to remind myself about certain things. And the third thing, what we are bad at, and I learned this and it helped me in my career, is networking. Mm-hmm. We are not good at networking. And reality, to get to the top, it's all about networks as well. Sure. It's the lessons that you learn, you can just phone. If you have a strong network, you can phone someone and say, I need this help, can you help me? Mm-hmm. And you know, the resources just come to you. And we're not good at that, and you have to work at it. And I learned all these things, you know, along the way. And the one thing that I do every morning, all of us brush our teeth every morning. If we can identify what we need to change, the only way you can change the habit if you tell yourself every day. Mm-hmm. So every morning when I brush my teeth, I remind myself of certain things, and I say, I have to focus on this. I have to, not do this. I have to do this, and I do it. You know, I take 5 minutes brushing my teeth, and so in that 5 minutes, I am talking to myself the entire time, reminding myself about these traits that I am good as a man. I can do it. And these are the things I need to work on to actually make sure I'm successful. Yeah,
no, I think I'll take a page out your book there. I mean, I think as you said, confidence is something that certainly quite a number of us need to do a lot more to build better. But that is where we wrap it up for today's conversation. And thanks once again to our guest CEO of Access Bank, Sugendri Reddy. Until next time, it's goodbye.